Well, Karen just completed an extensive main floor renovation for our client. It's full of great ideas, so let's start at the entrance.
We just finished this amazing renovation at the Irwin household. What do you think?
It's beautiful and practical and a lot more usable space.
We love it. We love it.
Great. I brought the City Line cameras with me. I'm going to show them around. How about I catch you later in the rec room?
Okay.
Sounds great.
The old foyer was so small, it only had a corner cabinet for all their storage. But by moving the stairs that used to be here to the center of the house, I was able to create a front closet. The dark stain actually matches the stain on our new front doors. We did a beveled antiqued mirror insert and crystal knobs, adds a sense of glamour. The coffered ceiling above with the chandelier also adds that sophistication. And if you look down, you'll notice that our beautiful limestone floor actually mimics the same pattern you see above. As we move into the dining room, we've created this nice sense of flow by keeping the colors fairly consistent. The dining room is huge. The old space used to have built-ins along this wall. They were low with no kick space and they really weren't to scale. We pulled those out and we added this very nice tone-on-tone wallpaper, which adds a great texture and interest. And it's a wonderful backdrop for a big, beautiful piece of art.
I mean, the place is gorgeous. I want you to talk through all of the changes that you made, and we have a picture of the before of the front entrance, that room right at the front entrance that you changed.
We do, and this is a typical layout in Toronto where you walk into the front foyer, it's really tiny, you have a corner closet and the stairs dead ahead of you, and when you have a family of 5 and that's your only door to come in, there's no mudroom, there's no place to put anything, I decided instead to move the stairs to the center of the house. What that allowed us to do, and if you look at a picture, this is the old family room, was at the front of the house, and it was actually quite small, and what happens when you do an addition, so this was now the dining room, was the family room. Originally the family wanted to keep the built-ins, but to be honest, the scale was all wrong. They didn't have a kick at the bottom. They were really low. They weren't very well crafted. And if we'd done that, that front room at the front of the house would have been very small, and then when you would have walked past those stairs into the addition, which would have been grand. And it is, it's beautiful and huge. And so the old house and the new house wouldn't have married together. You would have always thought, wow, this feels like the old house, and you walk in and you'd be in the great room and you'd never ever go back to that space. So we wanted to create a nice big dining room that was indicative of a house of that size. So by pulling out all those built-ins, moving the stairs to the center of the house, it kind of combines the two spaces, the old house and the new house.
What's cool about that is that you give people a different way of thinking about their rooms. So people will walk into a house and the way it's sold is, this is the living room, this is the kitchen, this is the dining room. You don't have to be stuck by that.
No.
You can shift stuff around, and I'm sure you've done that in some of your client homes and some of your own properties as well.
Many times. Actually, there was a country house we were doing, and the owners of that said, look, when we're downstairs in the living room, and they were just building this house, you know, so they hadn't kitted it out at this point. They said, but when we're downstairs, there's not a lot of view, you know, it's very bushy, and we like that kind of privacy, but we don't get that feeling of the expansive countryside. But in the bedrooms, wow, it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, you can see for miles, and we were like, well, why don't you just move the living room and the kitchen upstairs, put the bedrooms downstairs, and put some beautiful double doors in, so you wake up in the morning, open the doors, and you have that privacy and that kind of proximity to all the beautiful countryside. But when you're in your living space where you spend much more time, you're in the daylight, you want to see the view, why not take the living function upstairs? And they were like, hello, contractor, we need to move our entire house. They were like, I hate you, Colin and Justin.
That was a lot easier for them than actually literally moving house, because so often people are just slaves to what their builder or the original home planner thought the space should be used, or how they thought it should be used. And it's so easy to think about how you can change function. One of the simplest things that we see is the little plug-in socket we put your television, and that limits and restricts so many people about the way they can dress their rooms. And if the socket's on the wrong wall, then they don't know how they're going to work it. And we're like, well, spend $100 chasing the socket to another part of your room, which means you can direct your furniture on whichever orientation you want to enjoy the elevation that's best. But people just get so kind of completely constricted by, oh, that's how it is and that's how it must stay.
We're a little conservative, I find, right? I mean, I'm the person I'm talking about right now. I'm conservative too. I walk into a house and I'm like, oh, well, that's the living room, so that's the living room. But think outside the box.
Definitely.
Get a designer, think outside the box. You guys can switch it up. All right, let's go to break. More coming up. It's home day.